Hi, I'm Chachin Lee. I'm the CEO of Big Box VR.
And what are you folks showing here at the HTC experience at CES 2019?
We're showing a game called Population 1. Population 1 is a VR battle royale game. And it's really cool because you can climb everything that you see, you can fly around, and build structures and be really strategic about gunfights.
You know, and I think I just got out of a battle royale, and I actually got the final kill. So I guess what do you call it when you win in this game?
We haven't made that term yet, so if you have ideas, you can send it to us.
Over at Shacknews, we call it doing it for Shacknews, so I don't know. Maybe, you have like a victory royale, you have a chicken dinner, you have to figure out what the VR chicken dinner is, right?
It's true. We're figuring that out.
So let's talk about the gameplay. There's a lot of hand presence in this game, from reloading the weapons to climbing. How much iteration did it take to get that gameplay feeling so tight?
So we really, really care about usability in VR, and we want to make a game that's so easy to pick up, but has a lot of skill cap and you can master over a long time. Because eventually we do want this to be an esport. So first the product becomes the community, and then it becomes an esport. But it's really important for us to make a VR, a content that's very specific to VR, that's only possible in VR.
You know, some of the things that are becoming common in other Battle Royale games, picking up loot, you made it so much easier than a lot of these other menu systems and having to navigate things. It seems like VR, because it doesn't deal well with a flat HUD, you're forced to do more innovative things when it comes to displaying inventory on a screen.
Totally. So we studied a lot of user behavior. We had people come in, we tried all sorts of user interface, and it's really interesting to watch people use stuff because sometimes they pick stuff up, they don't really know how to use stuff in VR, so we streamlined it so it's super simple to do.
You know, what kind of shooters did you look to? Maybe not necessarily the Battle Royale games, but because the game has a very unique art style and it has its own kind of gameplay mechanic. What games did you look to for inspiration that you're like, you know what, I like that kind of shooting mechanic, or I like that level design?
So I personally have a very deep shooter heritage, and I've been a fan of Shacknews since the very beginning. I've been making shooters since the Soldier of Fortune Hexen 2 era. Then I worked at Valve on Half-Life 2. Then I made SOCOM Navy SEALs. So I've made a lot of shooters. But for us, when we were prototyping this, we actually watched a lot of DayZ gameplay and H1Z1 because it's just really fun to watch people do crazy things on 2D screen, and we imagine what that would feel like in VR.
And I think another really important thing about the Battle Royale experience in H1 and DayZ at the very beginning especially, or ARMA, emergent gameplay. So have you, just messing around in the lab, had experiences where you did not plan for the game to be able to do that, but it ended up happening and it was really funny?
So one of the coolest features in our game is, you can go up to a really high place and fly. Immediately, when you were doing the demo, you're like, can I climb that really tall structure? So I still remember so clearly our first gameplay session, we let like 10 people in. And the first thing they did was they ran as a group. They didn't even want to kill each other. They're like, let's go explore. They ran to that tower and climbed for 20 minutes. And then they flew off. And that was amazing to watch because it was so social and so fun.
I love that about games that don't force you to play the game. You can play the game and you can try to win if you want to, or you can just have a completely different experience. And with Battle Royales, there's even like pacifist runs where you try not to shoot anyone.
Yeah. So we had a dev who was a pure pacifist, and he decided to try to win without killing anyone ever. So that was his tactic, and he would try to lure people into zones and let them kill themselves. It was actually really fun to watch.
So how long have you been working on this game, and do we have a release date or any kind of, or is this just kind of the first time you've announced it and you're showing it to the world?
We've been working on Population 1 since August of 2017, and it will come out sometime this year, 2019. As you saw, the core loop is basically in. We're really trying to refine it and make sure it's just perfect when it comes out. It's super polished. And also, we want this to be a live service. So after you buy the game, there'll be a continuing skins you can buy, events, all sorts of cool stuff. So that's super important to us.
I wanted to talk to you about Locomotion in the game because you've chosen kind of a different way than most people. There's no teleportation because I think that would look weird in a multiplayer shooter. How did you come upon that? And I also love that I could be looking one way while running the other.
Yeah, so we call our Locomotion system free motion because in addition to the free movement that you can do, you can literally climb and fly off places. So if you combine all those things together, it's super fluid. You can fling yourself, shoot, do all sorts of crazy stuff. That's super important to us to be able to do in VR.
You know, going back to the Battle Royale format, you know, it's hard to talk to anyone about Battle Royale without mentioning Fortnite. One thing I think they've done really well is these in-game events. You know, they had the rocket launch, and then they had the lake evaporated. Yeah. Have you looked at that from a design standpoint? Like maybe, I think the brilliance of Fortnite is that they only have one level, so it's much easier to patch. Have you thought about that from your game's design? Are you going to have multiple levels or one level? How do you view that aspect of design?
That's a really great question because we actually talked about that for many, many weeks. We talked about, you know, learning one map really well versus playing lots and lots of maps. And we really determined that if you look at all the most popular games, everyone really gravitates towards one or two maps anyway, right? And so if that's true, then the brilliance of creating one big map and then changing regions so that you don't have to relearn everything again, I think that really keeps the retention.
Awesome. Yeah, I really think that Fortnite had success with that last year, and it's not necessarily just part of Battle Royale, but it's really that one map idea. I think that's really important that you folks are thinking about that.
Totally agree.
So, you know, to people who are like, oh, everyone's making a Battle Royale, what is I enjoyed this. I think one thing that I really liked was that it's not super long. I'm not going to be in there for 30 minutes. How long is the average game going to take? How many people can be in your mode of Battle Royale?
So in the very beginning, we decided we wanted to keep the action really compact and succinct and just full of surprises in short sessions, but rather having one long session, but have you play lots of short sessions. That's really important in VR as well, because people have different levels of comfort. Some people like to jump in for half an hour. Some people like to play for 6 hours straight. So being able to loop through that really fast is super important to us. So we kept the sessions roughly around 8 minutes, give or take, yeah.
You know, another really important thing for our community is we have these things called Shack battles. We all get together on the forum and say, hey, we're going to play this game on this night. Let's all get together. If we want to do this, can 24 people get together in one instance of your game, or how would that work?
Totally. So right now our game supports 24 players in the server, and we will be designing stuff where people can go into the same server to play at the same time. We'll also be doing squad modes where people can team up and form squads, and we personally like that mode the best, because you pick a few of your friends and you go battle together. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, we get super competitive in our community. We have our groups and everyone wants to be number one. So it's really important for us when a game allows more than 4 people, because like in Fortnite, really you can only do 4 people at once.
Totally. We also have a war mode, so that because it's 24 players, you can have 12 on each side just going at it, and it feels very different too. It's quite large.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Where can we find out more about your game?
Go to population1, and 1 as in ONEVR.com, and there you can sign up for a private beta. And please sign up for it. We'd love to get you into the game and try it and give us feedback. And thank you for trying it today. It was really fun to watch you play. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Can you tell everyone to do it for Shacknews? That's our motto.
Do it for Shacknews.
Oh, yeah.